friends, it's been a little over 3 months since my last cancer treatment, and I recently had my final scans to see how well the treatment worked. In this video, I will tell you how things have been going, and I'll share my results. Welcome to the Dress Up Mom. If you're already a subscriber, thank you, and I love you. If you haven't subscribed, please do, and tap the bell for notifications. It's been a little over 9 months since my life was turned completely upside down when I learned that I needed to start treatment for my follicular lymphoma. The treatment consisted of a combination of chemotherapy, bendamustine, and immunotherapy, Rituximab, and it lasted for 6 months. I had scans at the midway point that showed that the tumors were shrinking and the treatment was working, thank goodness. I was very relieved and emotional when I finished my last round and was able to ring that bell. My oncologist came in and talked to me that last treatment day, and he told me that it would take about 3 months for everything to get out of my system. He said we would repeat scans at that point, and then I would come back and see him for the results. I had noticed that the effect of these drugs seemed to be cumulative, and it took longer and longer to recover or feel a little bit better after every round. I had also been staying away from people since I was so immunocompromised. I was really looking forward to getting out and being among people again, and I realized just how social I am and how much I really like being around people. About 5 weeks after my last treatment, I went to my first big gathering. My beloved Amma was touring again after a 5-year absence from traveling to the United States. So I wanted to go to Irvine to get my special hug from her and spend the day in her presence. I wore a mask for most of the day and thoroughly enjoyed the experience. If you don't know about Amma or haven't had a hug from her or spent the day with her traveling group from India, it is really an amazing special experience. I even ran into my hairstylist extraordinaire, Jane Matthews, that day. It was her birthday that day, and it was really fun getting to catch up with her because I hadn't seen her in person in more than a year. I even got to meet her dynamic daughter, Sylvie. I wasn't at all surprised to know that Jane was also a big Amma fan. I had an appointment with her on the books for about a month from that day, and I was really looking forward to it. Soon after that, an outbreak of COVID ran rampant through San Diego. I had never had COVID before all these many years, and I had just been bragging to people that I thought that, I was immune to it. Wrong. I started feeling symptoms and ran a fever. Now, since I was still under my doctor's care and they had warned me that anytime I run a fever, I'm supposed to call, I did that, and they told me to get into urgent care to get checked out. After 4 hours and a bunch of tests, it was confirmed that indeed I had COVID, and they sent me home. It took me 3 or maybe even 4 weeks and an antibiotic to recover from this. It was really no joke. Now, pre-treatment and cancer and all of that, I would always recuperate from things very, very quickly, and I rarely got sick or picked up any kind of viruses. So this bout of COVID also delayed my ability to get back and start doing the things that I really wanted to do, my hot yoga practice, Orange Theory Fitness with my husband, some traveling, getting around people, and just starting to kind of go back to my usual routine. I also really missed getting into the ocean and was looking forward to that. I definitely realized that I was probably going to have to take things slow, I'm not good at that, and ease into all of this a bit. That's what I did. I hadn't had any alcohol at all this whole time. Now, I'm not a very big drinker, but I do like to have a cocktail or two when we're going out and just on weekends when I'm relaxing at home with family and friends. I made sure the first cocktail I had was a good one. I almost cried after my first hot yoga class back. I had missed it so much. I've always said that it's a form of medicine for me, and it truly is. I did practice a bit at home when I was going through treatments, but it just isn't the same. And that heat and the sweat and what it does for my skin and just relaxation, it was just so wonderful getting back in that room. I'm still working on getting back into the shape and being able to do my practice the way I did before my treatments. And the first time in, I thought, oh, this is going to take a long time, but that's okay. I will get back there. I know I will. I'm not quite ready to surf again because it takes a lot out of me, but my husband Doug and I started boogie boarding, which is super fun and way easier. It felt great to get back in the ocean. Now, the treatments really did a job on my skin. I've always been prone to rashes and eczema, but this was just like nothing I had experienced before. The entire sort of 3 months after, I had never had rashes like this, and it was quite irritating. My skin was also very dry. It's already dry, but it had like 0 oil in it. So I had to find some good products that were helping relieve some of this. I was still experiencing a little bit of hair loss, but that was tapering off gradually too. I've been under a fair amount of stress at work too, so that wasn't helping this whole situation. I am working on ways to reduce all of that, and my energy level I see is coming back slowly but surely. Doug and I made a short getaway trip to LA for me to see Jane and get my hair cut, this fun little pixie mullet. That was really fun. And we also took a family vacation to Two Bunch Palms, which was just magical and exactly what I needed. We have trips planned to New York City and San Francisco throughout the rest of this year. So I'm getting my travel on. So 3 months passed and it was time to go get my scan, which I was nervous about. It had been really nice not getting picked and poked and prodded this whole time. And I wasn't looking forward to going back and having that with my scan and my blood work and just, ugh. Okay, I'm back here with my friend, the cat in the hat, for hopefully my final scans and blood work. Kind of dreading it, but also really want it to be over. Okay, that was actually pretty good. This guy was really good. So this is kind of the worst part. That all went really well. And again, I just realized, I don't know why I get so freaked out about these things, but the IV went in really well. The blood work was really well. And this time there was no delay. Pretty much that same night, the results for everything came in through my portal. I couldn't decipher exactly what these results meant, but I could tell that it looked pretty good. When I saw my oncologist a few days later, he confirmed that. Got good news from my doctor. It was an A+ in the way that the treatment went. So I'll tell more on the video, but pretty happy. He gave the treatment response an A+ and said that the tumors were dramatically reduced. He told me that one of my lymph nodes was like this big before treatment, and now it's like this big. I'm really glad that I wasn't aware about how big this had gotten before. It would have really freaked me out. He told me that if the tumors hadn't responded this well, it would have meant that I had an aggressive form, but since they did, he doesn't think that's the case. He predicted that it would be many years, possibly even a decade, before I need to go back and get treatment again. He said typically it's 3 to 5 years, but that he would be really surprised if I needed to come back and have treatment again within 5 years. I need to see him and do blood work every 3 months and then get an annual scan to see the size of my tumors and how things are progressing. I asked him if there is anything at all that I can do to, prolong these tumors getting bigger, prolong my treatment. And he said, not really. I guess the usual things of trying to stay healthy. So the biggest thing is to not think about it. I mean, that's a little easier said than done, but I really am trying hard not to do this. It is such a mind game. He said to think of it as a chronic disease that can be managed. I mean, the problem with that is the management of it is chemo and immunotherapy for a long period of time. It sort of sucks. Hopefully what will happen is that over the years, all these treatments will just get so much better, and then maybe magically they'll find a way to cure it altogether. This is what I'm hoping for. I'm also trying to remember those learnings that I posted on my last cancer video. I can already tell that as life kind of starts to progress again, I'm going to have to keep going back and reminding myself of all of those things. For example, I still haven't sung karaoke with a live band or gone roller skating around the Hotel Del, but I'm going to go and do those things soon. I have been reading a lot, and I just can't believe that I ever stopped. I've also found a bunch of those sustainable wedding gowns that my niece Katie and I are hoping to sell. I am super grateful to my incredible family, friends, co-workers during these long months. I felt so supported and loved. Special thanks to my poor husband, who has been with me by my side this whole time. I still get angry and down periodically and want to have a little pity party. He lets me vent and do that for a little while, but he doesn't let me stay in that state for very long. I am mostly working on living my life to the fullest, but that is definitely a work in progress for me. If any of you watching also have follicular lymphoma, I would love to know your coping tips for this chronic condition. Please leave that in the comments below. I'm hoping I won't be making another cancer video for a really long time. Thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate it. Until next time, have fun and dress it up a little.